And good morning to everyone. Already midweek. Can you believe that? Get that microphone a little closer to us so you can hear me a little bit better this morning. I do hope you're feeling well as you start out today. It's cold. It's 30 degrees outside. But the good news is it will double, and we'll get to 65 before it's all said and done. So we're going to double what it is now. One of the few times that my dog didn't take a long time outside this morning. She took care of business and came on back in. Hope you are feeling well as we begin our day. A few things that are happening in the community today. A little bit later on this morning, we'll have Susie Johnson visit the morning show beginning a little bit after 8 from MCC. She'll tell us about their arts and letter series. They got a special guest coming to Meridian Community College. We'll talk to her and find out more about that. We've got the concert coming up on Friday night for the Jimmy Rogers Festival. That's going to be taking place, wait a minute, the 10th. Let me make sure that, let's see. Yeah, it's going to be on the 10th is when that's going to happen. Let me make sure I got all my thing right. We can pull this up. Hate to give misinformation there. It's right here so I can show you the, here's where the concert will be. Right there. Chapel Hart will be here February the 10th at the Max. If you hadn't bought tickets to that, I think they're still available if you'd like to go visit the group and hear them sing. That's going to be taking place in Meridian. Also, as we talked yesterday, the United Way's got their big event coming up on Monday evening. If you want to do Valentine's and help someone, that's how you do it there. They'll be out at Cane's, Weidman's Jeans, and I believe you pronounce that Ace. I've never been there before. That's a new word for me. So they'll be helping out with proceeds going to help out the United Way. It goes to many different causes across the county, so I hope you'll do that. Lots to talk about today. If we'll talk about where the railroad crossing is going to be closed, kind of take up a little bit of your time there on your travels. The big news out of yesterday that we learned Clarke County. And let's go to Clarke County Hot Topics as to where they spoke with Sheriff Todd Kemp about the findings of yesterday. And let's cut over and listen to Todd this morning as to what he had to say about what happened yesterday.
Search team went out this morning. They went down the creek from where the car was at. The creek is located here on County Road 290. Search teams went into this wooded area there, and it's thick as hair on a dog's back. I mean, there's real thick brush in there. They had to cut their way into the creek. One of the team members noticed something in the middle of the creek, looked like clothing. They were able to identify a body in the creek.
So kind of give us a location of exactly where this was, how far away from where Ms. Vaughn's farm
I would say probably 200 yards south of County Road 290 along this creek. The body was found in the center of the creek, hung up in what we would refer to as a snag in the middle of the creek. Now, as you know, last week, we got out here Wednesday, started looking for her. We had a large storm front come through, dropped 3 or 4 inches of rain in this area. So the creek rose at a very high level. So we believe how she got in the creek, I don't know, but we believe the current took her down that far, and that's where she wound up.
And Shabuda Creek does cross beneath 290, just right here, near here, and
that's
that is
correct.
On the way toward her home. So I would imagine that's also.
Yeah, we assumed she was, when her car was here, she was trying to go back home, and apparently got to the bridge. How she got in the creek, I don't know at this time, but that's still under investigation.
Are you treating this as a crime scene, or is it?
We are treating this as a crime scene. Body will be sent for an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death, and to do DNA to make sure we got a positive identification.
Yeah, because and all you guys know is really she was out here, she was seen by some neighbors, and the next thing you know, you're finding her a week later, deceased. Any identifiable marks of foul play that you can see right now?
Nothing was visible as far as foul play, but you know, it's still early to determine all that. Autopsy will confirm any suspicions that we might have.
Sheriff, the vehicle was found just over your shoulder there. How far do you think she was down the tracks from?
Well, if you go down the track, it's about 500 feet down the railroad track, and it'll be to the west of the railroad track into the creek. It's about 50 yards from the railroad track into where the creek is.
And Sheriff Todd Kemp there describing the scene in Clarke County yesterday as they found the body of Miss Carrie Vaughn, who had been missing for quite some time. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family as they investigate this, and hopefully before long we'll find out what happened. If I've done my arithmetic right, I'm close on this. I think she was missing for somewhere around 6 days. Such a sad, sad case for this to turn out that way. So we do send out thoughts and prayers and all those who went out and searched for her. We do appreciate all that. But conclusion for the family, not the conclusion that we did want. That's one of the big headlines that is today. As we look to other things, as I mentioned just a moment ago, if you travel this route a good bit, they're going to be working on this area here. Let me show you that. 49th Avenue Railroad Crossing, they were working on that yesterday afternoon. They'll continue to work on that today, and I think a total of 2 days. So if you travel right across those tracks, you may have to take an alternate route on your travels to work this morning. Let's see here. One of the things that we found out, if somebody tows your car, don't jump the fence to go in after it. That's a big no-no. The cops will come to take you away. That did happen yesterday. Let's see. We did have a report of a fire, a structure fire out on Bragg Avenue yesterday. Also, let's see. I've seen this happen a lot. There was a best way to word this, in the parking lot of Logan's, a scrap yesterday. Somebody got a bloody nose over the situation, and cops had to be called. No one was arrested, but nonetheless, there was a fight in the parking lot. I don't know what it was over. We also have several reports of a shot here and there. Nothing major. No one was hurt overnight as we look at all of this. Another big thing that happened yesterday, the Meridian Police Department made an arrest. Now, you may remember this. Let's pull this up so you can see this. This gentleman here, this was a gentleman that was also involved in an earlier incident where a drive-by where somebody got shot in the leg with a cousin. This incident goes back to December 28th, as a matter of fact, on I-20 exit 151, as it was a drive-by road rage shooting. Yes, that would be him. Bond has been denied for Jeffrey Jones. Looks real happy in that picture there, doesn't it? He has been arrested, and he'll be sitting until court time comes. We'll follow that story as more news comes out of that. Oh, boy, that's a few of the things. Again, we say condolences to the family there. Let's look at a few other headlines that are happening around the nation today. We start out Jackson, Mississippi. How many times do we tell you about how many people get shot in Jackson, Mississippi? Well, they're jumping right on crime. They're saying that now they're going to crack down on speeders on I-20 as they pass through Jackson. I would think it would be nice to start, well, maybe off the interstate and stop the shootings. But hey, I don't run Jackson, Mississippi. So the bottom line to that is don't speed through Jackson on I-20. They're going to stop you, although crime is really bad right off the interstate. My thoughts, you may look at it a little differently than I do. Let's see, we got sad news yesterday on this, and we hate to see this because so many people in our area do this for a living, and that's a utility worker for a power company. We did find out yesterday that in northern Mississippi, a Mississippi utility worker lost his life. He was electrocuted. It was near Holly Springs yesterday. We pass along thoughts and condolences to the family of him. The gentleman was named as Henry Watson Sr. He had worked there for about 5 years, and he touched a live wire, and it all ended instantly. We send condolences to his family. So sad for something like that to happen, and we pray it never does. Thoughts to those families and co-workers, as that's a horrible sight to come upon. We've got more coming up. Don't rush away. We've got more headlines, things that's happening right here in the Meridian area across the state. Plus, we've got your weather forecast we'll tell you all about. That's up and coming. Stay close. If every time the wind blows you get a little leery about a tree over your house, talk to my friends at Reed Tree Service. There's no reason to be worried about a tree crashing through your house. Mike and Jake have years of experience of dealing with trees. It can be as simple as having a limb removed or a tree that is just huge too close to your shop or house. It's not going to cost you anything to have Mike come out and give you an estimate. They're licensed and insured, taking care of East Mississippi and West Alabama. Reed Tree Service. Have tree, will travel. As you head out today, most likely at some point you'll need a cold drink, some gasoline. Maple's One-Stop Shop. They're located with 6 locations around town. Of course, this is the Chevron location there on St. Paul Street. If you're looking for a good breakfast this morning, they've got it all lined up for you. If you need a little bacon, whatever it is, a sandwich. As you look at the menu from biscuits, $1.39. You can also get that egg with meat, $2.79. Whichever the case is, they got a good breakfast there for you. Also, they'll have lunch later on with tender boxes, fried chicken, Sounds good, doesn't it? Some hot wings, all happening there at the St. Paul Chevron. Maple's one-stop shop. Visit them. Of course, as always, coffee as you're waking up, heading out on your way. Your 6-cup, absolutely free. That's that loyalty coffee program. Get that 6-cup, get that card punch. Along with cold drinks, anything you may be looking for this morning, and lunch as well at the locations there at Pine Springs and also Bonita. Piece of pizza, a drink, chips, all for $4.99. Lottery tickets and a whole lot more. From Bonita, Pine Springs to the Causeyville Chevron, also including Last Chance Tobacco, Broadmoor Chevron, and the 31st Avenue Chevron. Anything that you might need there, that's Maple's one-stop shop. Great price on gasoline, too, as you start out today. Check them out there. Good morning goes out to Flora Overstreet. How are you feeling today? Glad you're watching. Good to see y'all. As I mentioned, 30 degrees in Meridian right now as we start our day. A chilly day, but we will double. We'll get up to about 65 before it's all said and done, before it's over there. Also, good morning out to Steve, Wanda McKinnon. Missy Matlock is up. How are you? Mike Dallas, Harvey Cleveland. Appreciate you watching there. Angela, good to see you, along with Brian Troy. Lots of folks up today. Good to see y'all. Denise Burnside up there. I would say that most everybody has eaten at some point over at Barry's in the Jackson area. They made a grim discovery yesterday that an employee was stealing from them. The cops were called. They recovered 60 pounds of fillets, 23 pounds of meat. It totaled out to be about $1,200 worth of food that was being stolen from the restaurant. As they dug closer into this, they found out that at least another $2,000 to $3,000 worth of food had been stolen, and the employee was selling to other restaurants. And Barry's is wanting to know if you know more about it to pass it along to it. That's just bad. People stealing within that works for you. But we know that, and as we've learned that restaurants have had such a hard time finding employees across the state, locally as well. But that happened at Barry's in the Jackson area there. Big restaurant. A lot of people like to go over and eat there. Have you seen this where the Mississippi lawmakers are proposing a pay raise for themselves? That's what's happening there. The bill would give $6,000 pay raise to the first year of a 4-year term. We'll see if that goes anywhere, but that is happening. A lot of times you'll see they get raises and you don't. Teachers and police and, well, city workers, they need raises as well. We'll watch that story and see if that comes across also. A bomb threat was made in the state of Mississippi yesterday, and they were looking for it. They've got a reward out for who did it. And we go down to Natchez, Mississippi yesterday, where the bomb threat was made at a local high school there. Natchez High School had to close down after a caller threatened a bomb at the school. The Natchez police are all over this, and they're trying to make an arrest. We keep seeing this pop up all around the state. Have y'all seen this? Lots of these. They made an arrest in Neshoba County. They've made several around the area. There were a few made in the Meridian area, but no one was caught. Neshoba County actually was somebody that hacked somebody else's. That's how that one went down. But a bad thing. Let's see here. How do you feel about this? I was reading up on this also. Mississippi wants to dole out your tax dollars as a venture capital startup. And you go, well, okay, well, wait a minute, what's all that mean? Basically, the state of Mississippi is wanting to take your tax dollars and loan it out to businesses that are starting up. How do you feel about that? Is that a good thing, a bad thing? That's what they're wanting to do. You may not get your money back. What happens when that goes down? Business goes under. Something to think on, isn't it? So that's what's happening there in Jackson there. As we move a little bit over and we look at Birmingham, you just really don't hear this often. And yeah, I've got a smile on my face. It's a crime and it shouldn't have happened. But what is the world coming to that a 60-year-old, 50-year-old, and a 61-year-old think, hey, let's rob the little delivery guy? And it happened in Birmingham, Alabama. As they were sitting there contemplating on the front porch talking, the guy that was delivering medical supplies, well, you know, from the pharmacy that delivers it to homes, gunpoint, they robbed him. Then they tried to get away and had a wreck. They've all been arrested. Little old for that, wouldn't you think? But that did happen yesterday. Birmingham, Alabama is where that happened. Now, we've also, as we look at news stories in Alabama, an Alabama senator, and we hope something like this happens. It's a little too late for most of the Southland or across the United States, as we've even seen New York, where they backed up and picked up a statue in the middle of the night and moved it. Teddy Roosevelt, who I'm talking about there, and all across the South, the North, George Washington, who's next? But an Alabama senator who sponsored a bill 5 years ago is proposing that he wants to raise the penalty for any city or organization or county that tries to violate this and take out statues that have been put up for our war heroes. Of course, we've seen Birmingham. They backed up and took it down and said, who cares? We'll see what happens with this. We'll follow this story, too. It's going to be interesting to see if they actually follow through with this and this passes. We see it more and more every day. It's not just the South. It is everywhere. They had a shoplifter in Jasper, Alabama, stole a truck and a puppy dog was inside. He tried to get away and hit a police car. The dog ended up being okay, and he was arrested. Tough there when you leave your pup in your truck and you're going to be right back and somebody steals your car. Dogs are family. Y'all know that as well as I do. This story that comes out of Alabama that I'm reading this morning, it makes you have mixed feelings about parole. I don't know how well I would do on a parole board. I really don't, because I would have to think long and hard before I granted parole to someone. Back in 1995, a 16-year-old was sentenced to life in prison. He murdered somebody at 16. He's 45 years old, and they've redid it to where he could be considered for parole. Now, it even goes back to when he was 9 years old. He would burn animals. They saw early that there was problems, and at 16, he killed his first person. He's been in jail since he was 16. How do you feel about somebody like that being up for parole? Yay or nay? That's a toughie there. A lot of times we see people like this go right back and commit another crime. Would that happen, or do you think somebody like that is the word rehabilitated? Is that it? I really don't know how to answer that. I would not be their person for them that is put on parole boards. I would be very hard on things like this. As we look at national stories this morning as you're waking up, you ever heard of Houston's Mattress Mac? He did it last Super Bowl. He has put down a bet on the Super Bowl, and I think he's going with the Bengals this time. He has bet $4.5 million on the Super Bowl that they'll beat Los Angeles. Can you only imagine having enough money to be able to make a bet like that? That's what's happening there. Oh, boy. Let's see. Things are really out of control in Canada. And normally when you see things that happen in other countries, it can come here. You know, we've got the truckers there that are, against all of this with the mandates that are going on. Had a 78-year-old man go by and honked in his car, in support of the truckers. He was promptly stopped and arrested for disturbing the peace. That's not the United States. Again, I want to stress that, but that's Canada. Are we losing our rights around the world? It does make you wonder. This is how bad when you get people that don't know what they're doing. And I always urge you to vote and make your choices wisely. As we look at San Francisco, yeah, that's way away from our little community here in the deep south of Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, all of here. But out there, it's gotten so bad with the way they've got the laws that the homeless people, you've seen the pictures, living on the streets. Guess what they're trying to convince people now? Yeah, this is a media blast that they're working on to try to convince people in the San Francisco area that, hey, why don't you take in a homeless person or two in your house? We've had a lot of people ask this, and, this is how you can help. Take them into your home. Yeah, I said that. You'll see murders. You'll see robberies go up instantly with this. Don't be fooled by the media into thinking that all of that is true. That's not a good idea. There's nothing wrong with hurting someone, but there are a lot of people on the streets that you don't need to put your family in connection with. Use your heads there. Chris Como, he's wanting more money as he remembered what Megyn Kelly made, and when they got rid of her and she got her contract paid out, he's asking for another $60 million. Will he get it? I don't know. I think he's going to sue to try to get the money. He's just a mess, and his whole family there. Now, I didn't watch American Idol to remember this guy. This is another headline this morning. Anybody remember a guy named Caleb Kennedy? Do y'all remember him from Spartanburg, South Carolina? Let me show you his face here. This is what he looks like. He was on American Idol. Anybody remember that? Maybe he could sing. I'm not sure. I didn't see that season of that. but he's been arrested. He was driving DUI. He ran through a home and killed a 54-year-old man in South Carolina. Awful. I hate to even have to report something like that this morning. That's a few of the headlines that are happening around the world this morning. Some of them good, some of them bad. We'll watch those closely. Coming up, we're going to tell you more about that forecast and let you know what to expect today. All coming up. Don't go anywhere. We got that next.
Sanders Gas, Sanders Air and Heat is your full-service propane supplier since 1946. We take pride in ensuring reliable, friendly service to our customers. We also provide safety tune-ups related to propane, air conditioning, and heating systems, keeping our community efficient and safe. I'm Chuck Sanders, and yes, we're local.
If your gas logs are running a little low and they need some propane, give Chuck a call today. They'll be glad to back up and give you a little bit there. Let's look at our record highs and our record lows as we look at weather today. And let's pull this up so you can take a quick peek here of what we've got. Our record highs and record lows for the area, well, let's see here. 1984. It was, 1979, it was 84. The record low was 6. As we look at today, well, not bad, 65 in Meridian. As we go north of here, we'll go up toward Philadelphia and hit 64. Same at Mississippi State. As we go west, Vicksburg warmer with a high of 66. Natchez as well. And to the south, always when you get near the coast, it'll be a little bit warm in those areas, though. But the good news is it will be warm. You've got frost this morning. You'll have to warm up your car to make sure that you get there on time. As we go across to Alabama, Tuscaloosa, nice weather today with a high of 65 degrees. Livingston, Alabama, we hit 65 as well, all the way through Gainesville. It'll be gorgeous there at the river. As we look to the south, down around Troy, they'll also hit 64. So nothing bad in Alabama this morning either. As we look to what's happening today, don't burn. The National Weather Service tells us in Jackson that if you were to light a fire, it could turn bad for us. Wildfire conditions, and this is all throughout the area. So don't burn leaves, trash, or anything like that. The local fire departments will be busy trying to put it out. That wind will grab it and spread it. As you've heard the term, that's like wildfire. That's what happens. It jumps quick and runs. So wait a few days before you do that. Too windy to do that. As we look at this, what are the temperatures doing? Over the next 6 to 10 days, we start to see some normal temperatures moving toward the state of Mississippi. As you see that it's cold this morning here, even toward Georgia, but we've got a normal coming there. So temperatures are going to rise. And let's look at that 7-day forecast of what we've got lined up for you. And this is what it tells us for today. It's going to be nice as we look for sunshine and 65, but gust of 20 miles an hour, which will affect, yep, you got it, those wildfires. So don't light a fire today. We'll get down to 36 tonight. Cool, especially if you had to be outside. Don't forget your pets. Make sure that they're warm. Tomorrow, that'll be like summertime almost. 69 on Thursday. We'll end the week with 70. You'll be able to go short sleeving it Friday. As we move into the weekend, we'll hit 64. Still nice weather there. 31 for a low on Saturday night, but look out as you go to church on Sunday morning. You better drag that jacket back out because it's going to be cold. Just like that, it'll drop to 48 for a high on Sunday. Low of 26, just brr weather. As we look to Monday, it's going to be 60 with a low of 31, and then back to 64. Let's go ahead and look at another week into February, all the way toward the 23rd, up to 71, and that's when the rain will move in here around the 17th of the month. And we'll top off with 60s again. Nothing bad showing for the remainder of February. Can you believe that? Shocking there. Let's take a quick look at radar this morning across the nation and see what we've got here. As we said, in Meridian, Mississippi, we're sitting at 60 this morning, 30 as we go burr. Maybe it's cooler at your house, but as we look at radar this morning, here's what we've got. If you're going to be in the Lafayette, New Orleans area this morning, all of this just to the west of there, look at the fog that we've got. And that's thick. If anywhere near New Iberia, that's thick fog there. Morgan City, I've been there quite a few times in Louisiana. It's a lot of fog there. Lake Charles also as you cross that big bridge. Across the state of Mississippi, nothing bad at all. A little bit there around Columbus, Georgia. And the further east you go near Savannah, those areas in Georgia got a lot of fog this morning, even down to Gainesville. We got some showers off the coast of Palm Bay. Also down here, Homestead, all the way down. Fort Lauderdale got some showers today moving across there. As we back up and go across that east coast, nothing happening up in the New England area. We do have a few showers there from Louisville, Kentucky to Columbus, and we cut across here And we got some fog out in Washington, and look at that, no rain in Seattle, Washington. That's hard to believe. As we just take that quick look in North Dakota, 25 there this morning. We go over to Minnesota, 21. That's like heat waves for these people, as we've seen negatives for the last few years there. Now, as we go back down, let's take a look into Mississippi and Alabama and look at some of these temperatures that we've got locally. As we pull this up, we hop into Kemper County here, and we see the Oak Grove community, 30 this morning. Y'all living there? Hope everything's good there. Up towards Scuba, we'll check in at 30 as well. Over near Philadelphia, we're showing 30 degrees in Philadelphia. As we go north, let's go around the Louisville area, checking in at 30 also. So we've got pretty much Macon, not even giving us a temperature. It must be cold there. 30 on the south side of Macon is what we've got. Nothing bad. That's what the temperatures are this morning. So it gives you an idea of how to start out your day. I hope you'll join us in just a little bit over an hour from now. We're going to come back. We're going to have a lot to talk about as we get the morning show kicked off. Candace will be in just a little bit, and we'll tell you all about what's going on in the area to make sure you're on top of all situations that are happening across the nation. We find out more and more, one of the last things that I wanted to break up here, COVID, the military, they're still getting ready to cut ties with people that have not taken the shot. Somewhere around 3,300 people in the Army, I think, that they're looking at. We've got another guy that I was glancing at here who's an Army lieutenant. This got to make a decision. Does he stay or go? He doesn't want to take it. But if you stay in there, you'll have to. The Supreme Court never backed that up. We did have a judge from Texas try to make a stand on it with the Supreme Court. You can't overrule them. But the Supreme Court says, if you get a check from the federal government, basically you got to take it. And that includes hospital workers as well. Normal businesses don't have to do it anymore. But that's a quick look at what we've got shaping up around the nation. As always, I can't do this without your input. If you see something wrecked, if you see something stolen, let us know about it. Send us an inbox, take a picture where you are, and let us know exactly what you've seen, and we'll see if we can get to the bottom of it so everybody else can know about it. Again, it happens with you. A big thank you to all the sponsors that bring this about every single day. I can't do it without them. You'll see them on the screen. Spend a little, when you buy, spend with them. They're good folks right here in our community, so that we'll keep this thing going. Thank y'all so much. Again, Candace is getting the makeup ready. She'll be in with the blonde hair in just about an hour from now. We'll see you soon here at Scotty Ray's Weather, and all of us that make this happen. Thank you so much, and we'll be back shortly to kick off the morning show as well as on TV, all coming up right here. Thanks a bunch.
Scotty Ray's Weather is brought to you by